with Mark Davis, Chris Meinhardt, Luke Rule, Jake Winnekind, Alan Tomasella, and Nick the Doc Skirkle. Man, it is Monday, March 10th, 2025, Doc. And man, it is the first night officially of legal tampering of the NFL free agency. You know, we all know, Doc, it's been going on probably for the last couple of weeks. Jake said in Discord, and I agree with them, hey, this is just a legal tampering. And we know it happens, but man, what a first day, Doc. Your team, the Chicago Bears, man, they made moves. They went and got a center. They went and got a pass rusher. Obviously, we knew that had the two guards. Then who else did you guys get? I got it written down right here. You also got
Deo from Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's the pass rusher. And D tackle too from Grady Jarrett. Love Grady Jarrett. Obviously, a Falcons fan. Sucks to see him go. But Doc, man, I know you're feeling good. Tell us, man, how good are you feeling?
I mean, as good as I can. You know, I was feeling good the last couple of years too. And we kind of saw what happened. You know, the Nate Davis signing was a big deal. That turned out to be a bust. But we also didn't make a whole lot of moves on the offensive line like we did this year. I mean, you couple the Dahlman deal with bringing in Joe Thuney and bringing in Jonah Johnson. He's got some injury issues. He played 4 games last year, so I'm not really super stoked. Like, I still kind of think we need to go with an offensive lineman in that first round. But I'm feeling a lot better as far as the line goes. I mean, we shorted the trenches on both sides, which is what we needed to do more than anything. So, you know, high times in Chicago.
Yeah, again. Falcons, Doc, my team, and we've been kind of like we cleared up cap space with Jake Matthews. He cleared about, I think, $11 million, and then we cleared up 16.25 with Grady Jarrett. So I'm not sure what we're trying to do here. If we're trying to make any moves, if maybe Trey Hendrickson, I know we need a pass rusher, maybe we try to make a move for him. But he's, you know, with Myles Garrett, which we're going to talk about, got $40 million. I feel like Trey Hendrickson's going to want close to that, and we don't have that. I don't know if they've updated. I feel like we should have around $23 million in the cap space. I don't think that they've updated. He says we have 7 to 8. Like I said, I think with Grady Jarrett, we should have more, but I could be wrong. But man, Doc, this has been going on since, you know, yesterday. And this is not just this is also re-signings. This is also trades. And speaking of trades, man, DK Metcalf, we knew he wanted a trade, Doc. He said warm weather contender, and the old Pittsburgh Steelers landed DK Metcalf for a second rounder, and they flip-flop late round picks, and they paid him 5 years, $150 million. Got us $30 million a year, Doc. How do you like this DK Metcalf deal?
I don't fucking understand it. I mean, aside from DK wanting to go to warm weather and he's in Pittsburgh, you traded a guy. You traded for a guy, second round pick, swap lates, brought in a premier receiver, in my opinion, with no quarterback. Who's going to throw the guy the rock? You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. Like, this doesn't make any. This doesn't. I think what happened was that they were keyed in on Rodgers until apparently, rumor has it, you know, Giants offered a bag to Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, your backup from here is Jameis Winston, dude. I mean, even with George Pickens and DK Metcalf, like, that doesn't make Jameis Winston a great quarterback.
I love the moves, like you said. Like, I love the fact that they, you know, went and got a bona fide number 1 wide receiver, and maybe now you play George Pickens inside a little bit. I mean, DK is a stud. I mean, he is really good. He hasn't really had Russell Wilson early on, but he's had Geno the last couple of seasons. And like you said, who's the quarterback?
Hey, Geno look good.
He got Geno paid. I mean, also with Tyler Lockett's help too. But when it comes to, like you said, who's going to be the quarterback? I mean, Sam Darnold was rumored, then he signed with the Seattle Seahawks. Justin Fields was rumored. He signed with the New York Jets. So, I mean, Russell Wilson and Arthur Smith
wild to me, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk that one right there. We're going to good for Justin Fields, though.
You talk – how backwards is this shit, though? Okay? How backwards – you send a receiver to a team that ain't got a quarterback. You send a quarterback to a team that ain't got a receiver. Like, what are we doing?
I have no idea what we're doing. And I do think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. I understand, like you said, the Giants rumored have offered him a bag. And yeah, would Aaron Rodgers make the Giants better? Would he help the offense? Yeah, he'd help them a little bit. But I think
what they got.
And I told some Steelers fans this today, Doc, is they were like, well, if we get Aaron Rodgers, we're Super Bowl bound. And I'm not falling for this again. the New York Jets are the same thing that the Pittsburgh Steelers were. Great offensive talent, great weapons, a good defense, bona fide top 10 defense, and then no offensive line. Now, I mean, I like Aaron Rodgers' ability, and I think with the perfect offensive line or a very good offensive line, he can elevate a team to Super Bowl contenders. But, Doc, this Steelers offensive line, they are ranked 24th. Breaking news, by the way, real quick. Kyle Juszczyk was cut by the San Francisco 49ers just now. Just throwing that out there.
Really?
Yeah, Jake
what
was saying
a shame.
Yeah. But anyways,
Juszczyk's been the poster child of that, like the poster boy of that team. Anyways, going back, I mean, I was not hyped on Aaron Rodgers. Last year, you actually talked me up on him. You convinced me and talked me up on him last year, but I was never.
I said I was wrong. That's why I'm not falling for it again.
No, I know, but I wasn't all for it last year, and you kind of said some things that got me. I mean, I knew they had a great team on paper, and they sucked. And I think a lot of it was Robert Saleh, and now it was, the circus that ran the team afterwards. But Rodgers is 41 years old.
Yeah.
How many other quarterbacks have we seen do what he's done?
Tom Brady.
And he is not fucking Tom Brady. See, Tom Brady coming into his age 42 season was doing Tom Brady things. Aaron Rodgers has not done Aaron Rodgers things since 38, 39 years old. He got injured his first year with the Jets. His last year with the Packers, I got to go back and double check the stats, but I don't think it was all. I'm not saying it was bad, but I don't think it was like impressive. It didn't wow, it didn't have the wow factor. You know what I'm saying? So, like, Rodgers is like maybe 3.5, 4 years removed from really being elite in this league to where we can talk about Tom Brady and talk about him being able to go until 45, 46 years old. Saw what happened.
He had MVP season 2022 is probably his last really good year.
Okay, so then he was elite in 22. Was that the year he had 2 interceptions? Only 2 interceptions?
No. I'm sorry. 2021 was his last MVP year. 2022 was his last year in Green Bay. Yeah, I'm sorry. 2021.
So that's what I'm saying. So 2022, I got to go back and look at the stats. 2021, I think, was the year that he had like 2 interceptions the entire year. He had like 30 touchdowns or something, only 2 interceptions. He had a great year. He had a phenomenal year. 2022, I got to go back and look at it. I don't remember being all that impressed by it. 2023, obviously, was hurt. 24 was a dumpster fire. I don't know why you would put all your eggs in one basket and go after a guy like Rodgers when you could have brought Sam Darnold, who's proven that he can play with receivers. You just got to get over that late season hurdle with Sam Darnold and keep him out of, old Sam Darnold. But it's like the Jets, the Giants, the Steelers are all trying to rely on this old Aaron Rodgers that is not the Aaron Rodgers of old. It's not going to work. He showed that it can't in New York. He had weapons. I don't give a shit what you say. Everybody talked about you bring in Devontae Adams and hook him back up with Aaron Rodgers. What did that do, Mark? How much did that change?
Well, I mean, the second half of the season, great numbers and all that, but I still piggyback off the Steelers offensive line. Yeah, okay, they were beat up last year. They were ranked 24th in a lot of high 20s and a lot of these guys' rankings. And if the offensive line, if they get healthy and these young bucks, now they got rid of the horrible left tackle Dan Moore out there. If they could get an offensive line, okay, I would like the move. I'm still not going to say Super Bowl bound because they're in the AFC. You still got to play the Baltimore Ravens. You got to play the Buffalo Bills. You still got to play the Kansas City Chiefs. We don't know what the Chiefs are going to be. They have some changes coming. You still have the Bengals. Maybe they make a change. We're going to talk Broncos and Chargers a lot this offseason. Broncos are making moves. Broncos are my sleeper AFC West team right now to win the AFC West. I really like what they're doing, but that's what Aaron Rodgers would have to compete with to get to the Super Bowl from the AFC. And just like I said, this offensive line, I'm not a fan of, Doc. I still love the talent he has. I think he'd be great in Minnesota. I still stand on that. I like what Riz was saying. Go to Minnesota if I'm Aaron Rodgers, but the Steelers, though, they have to figure out quarterback. Maybe Shedeur Sanders. I said it on Friday, Doc, on Friday's show. Maybe Shedeur falls to where they're at in the 20s. I can see that. I can see Shedeur Sanders falling to Mike Tomlin, and then Shedeur Sanders with DK Metcalf and George Pickens. And what a shit show that would be. That would be a fucking shit show.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way Shedeur falls that far. There's no way. Because honestly, I think you put him on either side of the ball, he's only going to be better than what he did in college if you focus him on one side of the ball than playing both ways. I think it's a win either which way you go with him. Take him as a corner, take him as a receiver. I mean, honestly, I still think George Pickens got to prove some stuff. George Pickens has had flashes, but I haven't seen that consistent. I can step in here and be a leader in this wide receiver room, which is why they went out and got somebody like DK Metcalf, to elevate this offensive passing game, a receiving game. But I'm not saying that I'm not sold on Pickens, but I'm not thrilled about him. You know what I mean? I got to see see that you can be an adult and be a veteran. But with that being said, I still don't know if the Steelers need another receiver like Shedeur Sanders. I mean, you got
no.
Ain't going no. Or sorry, Travis Hunter.
I'm not saying Hunter. I'm saying Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback. I think can fall to them. Yeah. That's why you were catching me off guard. I was saying, man, I was like, if I said Hunter, my bad. No, yeah, Shedeur, I think can fall down too because he's been taking a stock.
Oh no, he definitely can. Yeah, he's been getting that dude's been getting fucking. I don't know. I think
Mike Tomlin is the coach that can handle the possibilities of if Theon wants to get involved. People say he's going to, but if he does or doesn't, I think Mike Tomlin's a coach that can handle it. He's a player's coach. He knows how to coach players. That's a guy.
I know there's been a lot of speculation that he can't control the locker room anymore.
No. But Doc, let's move on.
I don't think that there's. Can Shedeur fall that far? Absolutely, because his stock has fucking taken a dumpster dive.
Yeah.
But I think that there are too many teams that need a quarterback. Really, Raiders must have really thought that they had no chance of landing a quarterback. I would have taken even Jackson Dart over Geno Smith, but hey, to each their own. But I don't know. I think there's too many QB hungry teams that still need something that they can't afford to pass up on Shedeur in the early picks.
We'll have to see because, like I said, 2026 class is supposed to be better, and that's something that we're
even if the Giants get Rodgers, you're rolling the dice that you're gonna have a fucking great year with that offense, or you're gonna be shit. I still think you got to roll the dice and get that quarterback this year for the Giants because Rodgers ain't gonna be here for long.
We're gonna see, Doc. There's a team though. Let's talk about. We're talking about winners. I'm telling you, a team that I think is going to win the NFC West. If you ask me day one of free agency, that's Davante Adams and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, Cooper Kupp is probably going to be out the door very shortly. They already said that if they can't find a trade partner, he's going to be released. But, Doc, Davante Adams was signed by the Los Angeles Rams last night on Sunday night. And then, they grabbed a defensive lineman, Poona Ford from the Los Angeles Chargers, had his best year of his career last year. Obviously, defensive tackles don't get big numbers. But, Doc, the Los Angeles Rams offense, Kyron Williams, potential Tyler Higbee, Puka Nacua, Davante Adams, Matthew Stafford, Blake Coleman's backup running back, and I still think Jordan Whittington and Tutu Atwell can be a solid number 3 receiver. Doc, this offense, this Rams team, watch out. I'm just saying, watch out for the NFC.
Yeah, definitely team to watch out for. Tutu Atwell coming back, Davante Adams, Puka Nacua. Great receiving core going on here. I have my concerns about Matthew Stafford and the monster contract that he got. I just don't understand it.
They were one throw away.
Honestly,
they were 1 or 2 throws away from beating the Eagles and getting the NFC Championship.
They took the division last year, so they're definitely moving in the right direction compared to where they were. Getting rid of Cooper, I think, is the best move for him because aside from the injury, the distraction of the team, look, I'm not saying Cooper can't be great somewhere, but it ain't going to be in Los Angeles. So it's time to cut that tie. You've been having injury issues for a couple of years now. You had to move on from it. Trading Jonah Jackson. As a Bears fan that got Jonah Jackson, I'm not super thrilled on it. I think it was a good move on the Rams to cut some cap space because the guy can't stay healthy. His first or second year was the only time he could play more than 14 games. Outside of that, you got Davante Adams, Poona Ford. A couple of re-signings, but a pretty quiet offseason otherwise. Not quiet in the whole regard, but they're making the right moves. They're going in the right direction. I think they can definitely take that leap to step away. The Niners, I'll be surprised the Niners win 2 games next year, the way they're going. If Christian McCaffrey isn't trying to get out, I don't know what they're doing. Especially with Dre Greenlaw appeared rumored to be gone now. Arizona has potential too. They have the same potential as the Rams. I think they got to work in a couple of points, but Kyler Murray can do his thing. Marvin Harrison Jr. They got weapons in Arizona and Seattle. Seattle is the only team that will probably lose more games than the San Francisco 49ers all of next season.
And the Cardinals did land Josh Sweat on the defensive side too.
That's a big deal, and they needed that defense. That's a big deal.
for former coach Jonathan Gannon, who's their head coach. Doc, too, another thing with the Rams, they did lose Bobby Brown on the defensive side. He went to the Panthers. Shout out to the Panthers, too. They have made some moves. Now, the Panthers are spending money. But, yeah, Doc, this Rams team, on the offensive side at least, they're loaded. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I think Devontae Adams is number 2 receiver. I still think it's Puka Nakua's team. But, man, like it's a 1A, 1B. Like, that's one of the better 1-2 punches in the league. Obviously, you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. You know, we'll see what if Jalen or if Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle can get back to what they are. You have JJ and Addison, you know, Chase and Higgins. You still have some studs up there. But, man, this core here, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, good 1-2 punch. I think the defense is still solid. They still have your boys from Florida State, Verse and Fisk. I mean, it's a good team. And another breaking news, Saints just signed Chase Young to a 3-year, $51 million.
Wow.
Could be worth up to $57 million. Hey, if a GM that deserves to be fired, it needs to be fucking the Saints general manager. It's just, I just don't know what to say.
I don't. The Saints need to go into full rebuild mode. I don't know what they're doing. Like they got into cap space, cut a bunch of people, trade a bunch of people, whatever, trying to cut all that cap money because they were over. And then you go out and get a Chase Young. What is Chase Young going to do for you? This team ain't ready.
So Chase Young had 5.5 sacks last year. 31 combined tackles, 21 QB hits. So that's, I mean, okay. But like
that's a good number.
You're telling me a guy that has not had more than 7.5 sacks in his career is going to get $51 million on a 3-year deal. Like, it baffles me what some of these guys are doing. But hey, man, shout out to the Saints. I'm not worried about the Saints in the division. It's all about the Bucs. But Doc, let's talk about Myles Garrett. You know, he said he wanted to be on a winning team. He wanted to be in a Super Bowl team, and you know, I think that was all just for shits and giggles. He just used that to get money. Hey, he got paid $40 million a year, Doc. Highest.
That is fucking insane for an edge rusher. I mean, that's quarterback money.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he's arguably the best defensive player, and he's arguably the one of the best players in the NFL. Honestly, you can even just say
100%
player. Now, this does fuck the teams like the Steelers, Cowboys, and Bengals aren't going to pay Hendrickson, but the Cowboys with Michael Parsons and the Steelers with TJ Watt. Hey, shout out to the Browns for getting it done, but it was all about the money, Doc. It was never about actually truly being on a contender. It was just all smokescreen for Myles Garrett.
Well, I mean, look, you can want to be on a contender. You can want this and that when the right price tag comes along. I mean, if the Browns are going to throw up $40 million a year and you're looking to be on a contender, and contenders typically don't have $40 million a year to throw at an edge rusher, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? There comes to a point where you're like, hey, man, I got to look out for me and family. I'm going to take the deal and make the money.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, the money's there. You know, I probably would be the same way. I mean, you know, a lot of times we say, hey, man, we would take a Super Bowl because he's set up for life. You know, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
He's probably gonna make the Hall of Fame, no doubt. And then, you know, he's one of the best defense players in the game. I don't know, man. It's just, it sucks for guys like Myles Garrett, guys like Joe Thomas back in the day. You know, former left tackle, was a stud. You know, never has a chance to win a ring. And you know, they had a chance with Baker Mayfield, and then, you know, they shipped him off to Carolina. They go for Deshaun Watson. Understand why they did it. Deshaun at the time was a beast. But at 2020 hindsight, that was a terrible decision, letting go of Baker and bringing in Deshaun Watson. And only the owner wanted Deshaun Watson. That's the sad part.
Especially with all that guaranteed money. That's a shame.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know how you feel the team paying Deshaun and Myles Garrett now with that money.
Funny thing was, Deshaun Watson was supposed to be a Falcon, and then when he changed his mind and said, hey, I want fully guaranteed, the Falcons said no, and the Saints were the second team, and they came back and said, we're not giving you fully guaranteed, and then the Browns were the only team to do it. So shout out to them for paying Myles Garrett. And they did restructure Watson, but shout out to the Browns for keeping Myles Garrett. He's your best player, and we'll see what happens, Doc. The Browns have a chance to hit in the draft. I've seen some pretty good mock drafts for them. If the draft falls that way, they can go get a running back to replace Nick Chubb. They have a chance to get the quarterback of the future, to get some studs on the offense. They have some picks in the first 2 days. They can make it right and start building that team right now. But it takes a perfect draft, in my opinion, this year.
I think they're making a mistake letting Nick Chubb walk.
Hey, man, I think Nick Chubb on a contender, like, God, it's probably going to be the Chiefs, some bullshit like that. But, like,
Chicago.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
I
honestly,
can see it. I can see it. I just don't know. I just don't know.
this offensive line, I think that with the revamped offensive line, DeAndre Swift can excel.
Let's talk about him. Let's talk about the Bears since we're talking about them. You know, you guys did go get Jonah Jackson. You guys did obviously get Joe Thuney. You bring in Dahlman from the Falcons. You bring in Grady Jarrett. And you bring in, I'm going to fuck his name up, but Deo Ojabo. Yeah, okay. That's for the Colts. So, hey, breaking news. Chargers signed Najee Harris, 1-year deal, $9.5 million up to. So,
Woo!
I think it's a good fit. I like that.
I would have preferred the Raiders, but
well, I think with Jim Harbaugh, that's a great fit. He's a running back.
I need the Raiders to go out and get a running back.
I know why, but no, I like what the Bears are doing, man. Like, am I going to drink the Kool-Aid like I did last year and think y'all are going to go in the division and be in the Super Bowl potentially? No, I'm not buying that yet. But I do love
a wild card.
Yeah, I did that last year.
I'm not doing the division. Yeah, I'm doing a wild card. Fuck that.
I mean, it's good though. Like you said, maybe DeAndre Swift comes here. You can get another running back in the first 2 rounds. You obviously, I think, go running back with one of your first 3 picks. I believe it. One of those first 3 picks will be a running back. Are you going to do it?
I'm sure. I mean, I still think. I mean, the offensive line problems that we had last year, I think we still do have to go. I mean, if Genty's there, it's hard to pass on him. Yeah, but if he's not, I think it's very easy to go offensive lineman because the injuries problems that we had last year in the line caused a lot of issues for Caleb Williams. A lot of guys out for, the vast majority of the year, or guys just not wanting to play football like Nate Davis and tripping over his own team and knocking them over. So I think we still need to get a piece for some depth because honestly, I'm fine if Jonah Jackson plays a depth role. I don't give a shit. I'll eat the contract for a year or 2, whatever he's got left, and we can move along. I mean, Thuney's out after this season. Surprise! I expected a extension to come down, but I haven't seen it. But I mean, we still need depth in the offensive line. We need a guy that can come in here and be able to hold his own and play the position. I really wanted to see Borum come back and play that depth role, but I guess that's not going to happen. So
maybe, Doc, maybe in years past where the running backs class haven't been so deep, maybe you guys wouldn't pass on Genty, but maybe with guys like Hampton, guys like Henderson and Junkins, there's a lot of running backs. You have the kid from Iowa. Like, you have running backs all
Kid from
around.
Iowa is projected to be. I actually saw mock draft the Bears taking him in their second round, their second round pick, 41.
Yeah, and Luke's only good player from UCF, RJ Harvey. I think he's a stud at UCF. Like, there's a lot of running backs here. So, like, this year you guys might, like you said, pass on running back in the first round, and you go get a Will Campbell, a Kelvin Banks. I know the Ohio State Johnson. Yeah, I think that's his name. He's been floating around. You have Tyler Booker, the guard from Alabama. Like, you have guys that you could just go get O-line and then go pick a running back at 39 or 41. I mean, you guys have unlimited options right there, but this is seeming like it's going to be a running back because what you guys are doing on the offensive line. That's why I'm saying it. It's just, it feels like it for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, the best part about the whole thing is we have a lot of options, but we're also limited in a good sense that there's not a whole lot that we need. And that's what makes me, tremendously happy as a Bears fan. There isn't, 35 holes that we got to fill on both sides of the ball. With the work that we've done on the line, I think bringing Dio over is a great compliment to Montez Sweat. I think putting Jarrett in the trenches in the middle. Yeah, putting him in the middle. I mean, a bounce back here from Steven. Like, the backs in the secondary are still premier. Great job by the linebackers last year. The offensive line has stepped up. I mean, you're talking like we could use some depth in the offensive line, maybe one in the defensive line. I still like Gervin Dexter as a defensive tackle. If we run a 4-3, Gervin can still play up in the trenches. But
would you be mad if, let's say, at pick number 10, Tyler Warren's right there, and you guys just go get Tyler Warren? Now, I know Cole Kmet's still got maybe a couple years left, but you get Tyler Warren, and then and then you get running back and or D-line or O-line with your 2 picks in the second round.
Cole Kmet ain't the problem, though, man.
I'm not saying, but what I'm saying though is Tyler Warren is no disrespect towards Cole Kmet, but Tyler Warren is an athletic freak.
Yeah, but are we talking like Brock Bowers kind of impact here?
Honestly, yeah, I think so.
Like if he's not going to
Also
come out
help.
as a rookie and set records, I'm not interested.
Well,
Because Cole
that's
Kmet is
also
still a phenomenal tight end. He can get the job done. We saw it last year. They just stopped
yeah, I
passing
know.
him.
I
But at the
just
end
I
of
don't
the
know.
day, as long as when we need you to be a target, you're a target and you make the play happen, that's what I care about. I mean, you got to understand, we had, in my opinion, the best receiving core in the league last year. With Roma Dunze as a third, because in my opinion, even Seattle, Lockett was falling off long before.
Oh yeah, he was
Keenan
falling
Allen
off.
started off slow, but Keenan Allen had one of the best second halves that I think I've seen on any of the receivers last year. I would put him top 5 for sure as far as second half or maybe last third of the season. That dude went all the fuck off.
Or since you guys are addressing the trenches, and let's say it's not Tyler Warren. Like let's say McMillan's gone, but you have Matthew Golden there, or Buka there, or
I'd go for
Luther
some
Burden.
Matthew Golden.
Would you go for a receiver, and then you have your youngsters? You have DJ. Well, DJ Moore's the vet, but you have DJ Moore. You have, like you said, Roman Duze, and then you have Matthew Golden, Luther Burden, because Luther Burden is a speedster that can take the top off the offense. So then you put him in the inside, and you put Rome and DJ on the outside. I mean, you guys, let's say you guys are in a situation with your first 3 picks that are so high, with pick number 10, pick 39, pick 41, and you're hitting on free agency. It appears like you guys have so many options where, yeah, Ben Johnson loves running backs, but I mean, I can see a receiver here. I can see a potential tight end. I can see you guys maybe going a great corner, or maybe like a Barron from Texas. I can see you guys going versatile on the defensive side too. You guys are unpredictable right now, in my opinion.
We don't really need it. We don't really need a great corner though, because if Stevenson can bounce back, which I think he can, I think he needed the offseason to get over all the bullshit. But between him and Jalen Johnson, we're fucking set, man.
How's your safeties though?
Byard and
so you have an older safety. So I'm saying, but Barron is a safety and 6. A corner. He's a 2-way player. He's what they call a Shohei Ohtani. He plays corner and safety, Doc. So Barron, he was a Jim Thorpe winner too in college last year. So he is a fucking dog. That's not me being biased because I'm a Texas fan. The kid's legit. He can put out there and play center field and let him roam around. I just would say you guys have so much possibilities. I can see this mock draft too is going to be hard work. I keep saying it, but I'm probably stuck on running back at the moment for the Chicago Bears until I see otherwise. There's only a couple teams I can see going Genty early on. Doc, though, no, you're good, Doc. You're good on my end. Well, it lagged now, so
I don't know what my shit is all fucked up. I don't know what's going on.
You're good right now. Can you hear me? Yeah, I think we're losing Doc right now. Sign out. Yeah. I think you're going to sign out, Doc. Just sign out and come back. I'll queue up the next one. We're going to talk about the Washington Commanders. Man, oh man, what the Commanders? They are making moves as we speak, man. Like they just traded for Lamari Tunsil from the Houston Texans. They did go get Javon Kinlaw. Obviously, we talked about Deebo Samuel. We've talked about it all with these guys, and the Commanders, man, they are legit. I think what they're doing right here, getting some depth on the defensive line, you're getting some help on the offensive line. The Commanders are the real deal. I think that they could. Oh, it says you're on here twice, so interesting. Welcome back, Doc.
Dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I was saying the Commanders, they're seeming to be the real deal, Doc. They signed Javon Kinlaw, former Jet, former 49er, obviously, and then they get Tunsil from the Houston Texans. So they seem to be making the right moves to help Jaden Daniels, to help this defense, which Dan Quinn is a specialty at. I think the Commanders, they obviously could compete with the Philadelphia Eagles. I still think that they need to make some more moves. How you feel about the Commanders, Doc?
I am trying to piece together what you're saying here. Commanders seem like they're making a lot of good moves. I think Laramie Tunsil was a good pickup for the offensive line because I think that they needed some help with that. With how much Jaden had to roam around the pocket last year, I think is not what you want for him. Just because he can do it doesn't mean that he should be doing it every single play. Kinlaw, I think, was a good pickup for him. Jonathan Allen, I mean, brought back Zach Ertz, Bobby Wagner. I mean, this is traded for Deebo Samuel. I mean, this team is doing everything right to try and put weapons around Jaden Daniels and make this team a contender.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they were in the NFC Championship a year ago, and here they are. You know, you bring back Ertz too. You bring back Zach Ertz. Yeah, Doc, you're struggling right now.
I don't know what the hell's going on, dude.
I would just sign out and sign right back in. I mean, maybe like restart your computer, or not restart, but like just exit out of the tab.
I just did that. I'm gonna have to restart or something because I went out and came back in just a minute ago.
No, you're sounding good. You're not focused. It's a little blurry. That's all it is. You might be a little behind too, but let's move on to the Justin Fields and the New York Football Jets. That's right. These guys right here signed Justin Fields, 2-year, $40 million deal, Doc. And for a guy that might have been back with Pittsburgh, sorry, CJ, I thought I let you know that Tunzel you guys traded for. I must have missed that. Sorry about that. I thought I said that, but that's my bad. No, we're going to talk Justin Fields, though, Doc. 20 or 40-year deal or $40 million deal for 2 years. How do you feel about this?
I mean, you're bringing back somebody that knows the system. You know what I mean? Somebody that's comfortable in Pittsburgh, and you know, if Rodgers falls through, you got somebody.
Well, he's a Jet. No, I'm saying he's not with the Jets.
Oh, that's right. He went to the Jets. Fuck, that's right.
Yeah, he's with he's the bridge quarterback right now, it seems
that's
like.
Right, because I remember. Yeah, I said that earlier. He's a bridge quarterback until they fuck up their next early round draft pick. I mean, what else are you going to do? You know what I mean? You don't have a whole lot of options. You don't have a whole lot of weapons. Breece Hall is going to continue to get used wrong. Garrett Wilson's going to continue to be mediocre.
Reunion, by the way.
Mediocre quarterback. Huh?
It's a reunion. They played together 2 years at Ohio State, so maybe they bring back that Buckeye magic.
Yeah, I don't think so. Garrett Wilson is a flash in the pan. I'm not sold on him. I know I started saying some shit last year. I'm definitely convinced this year he's going to have to do some real magic to prove me wrong. I mean, it's like I said in the chatter. It's a good bridge quarterback until they can get a high enough draft pick to fuck that up down the road, and we'll see what happens.
They're a dumpster fire, man. They lost DJ Reed.
This fucking team is terrible, dude. Reddick's
DJ Reed. Yeah, DJ Reed went to the Lions. Reddick barely played for them.
Well, yeah, we knew Reddick was leaving.
Yeah, just
that writing was on the wall.
Sauce Gardner's been kind of falling down the mountain of good corners. He's becoming a holding merchant at the time. Right now, he's not that good in my opinion. I think he's good, but he's not been good the last year and a half.
Nobody on this team is elite right now. Justin Fields is probably one of the highest producing players on this team. That's the sad part.
Yeah, it's sad.
Breece Hall can be, but they can't use the motherfucker right.
Yeah, I like Breece Hall, but like you said, they can't use him right. Doc, let's talk about another team in the AFC. That's the New England Patriots. They are not messing around, my friend. Harold Landry, Sunday night. They signed him. He played for Mike Vrabel back in Tennessee. Milton Williams, part of the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl defensive line. Robert Spielman, from the Raiders. Carlton Davis from the Lions. Morgan Moses, older lineman, but they did sign him. The New England Patriots, they had the most money coming into this free agency, Doc, and they are not fucking around. They are spending.
Yeah, no, they're going after any and everybody. Signing a corner tells me you can bring in a great Travis Hunter and let him play receiver only. But I want to talk about the most underrated signing. Talk about bringing in Josh Dobbs and how that elevates this offense to the next level. That makes these guys immediate Super Bowl contenders. Shout out to them bringing in Josh Dobbs, who has found his way back to the backup role in the NFL prominently for the remainder of his career. But no, in all seriousness, no, I mean, like the Bears are coming out there making deals. They're doing it strictly through free agency. But they're plugging holes. And this is what you need as a team that comes out. You've got your franchise quarterback. You've got some weapons. There's no doubt in my mind, no matter what happens, they have to go receiver.
McMillan. I'm telling you, just get McMillan.
I know. They need a bona fide number one receiver.
Allen wants Genty. He really wants Genty at 4.
I don't know why.
They can go get running back in the second round. Like, stop or go back and get. They still need O-line. No,
But see, the Patriots are not in a spot where like running back is your number one concern. You bring in Genty, he ain't gonna do shit for this team. Like you talk about
the Eagles. He thinks of the Eagles where they're just a Saquon Barkley away.
No, see, and this is the same thing I'm saying about the Raiders. Like the Raiders desperately need a running back because Zamir White is trash, Madison's trash. Lobby,
he's a 6-rounder. I mean, I'm sorry.
He's a 6-rounder from a school that I've never heard of. So a D3 school I've never heard of, but I like him because I got a lot of autographed shit from him and low-numbered football cards from him, and I want him to be worth money. But no, I mean, they need one. But honestly, what do they need more? You just brought in a quarterback, all right, that you are paying a good amount of money to now because they signed him to a big extension, right? So what do you need more? You need a running back? You need somebody for Geno to throw to?
I would say that the Patriots need either receiver or O-line. Like
I think Patriots go receiver. I think they need to go receiver, and whether that's Travis Hunter or McMillan, and I think the Raiders do either of those that are left because they both need help on that. It's both those teams are the same thing. You bring in a running back, and ain't going to do you no good when you don't have the pass game in the play action. You don't have the pass game in the play action. Jacoby Myers, I love him. I got him on Dynasty and Fantasy. He's not a number one receiver. He's not. He's not. You need a leader. He is. And you need a number one wide receiver. You went out and went after this quarterback, invested, brought him over. You got nobody to fucking throw to. You got a half a guy to throw to. Drake May's going to come out here. You got 3/4 of a guy to throw to. Both of these teams need receivers. That's your number one concern. Go out. Look, you miss on Genty, big deal. Because if you go out and get a McMillan or you get a Travis Hunter that can play receiver and elevate that offense, you can take a lesser receiver running back later on, and it'll have the same effect on your team. It's going to open the passing game, and it's going to open the play action. That's what you need.
And I think with the Patriots,
you talk about a team that is like a running back away from winning. Now, the Bears, I think, need offensive line to build that depth, but the Bears are a team that is a running back away from winning. That's the last hole we got, in my opinion. The whole secondary is there on defense. We shored the line, both offensively and defensively. The wide receivers are there. The tight end is there. We're literally, no, that's it, running back.
The Patriots, same thing how I mentioned with you guys. If you guys don't go running back first pick, that's fine. There are like 8 to 10 solid running backs in this draft class alone, and they're going to be in the third round. They're going to be in the second round. If you're the Patriots and you don't get more offensive linemen, or you don't go get a T. Higgins to trade for, or Brandon Ayuk, or whoever is available, you got to go receiver, you got to go O-line, and get the running back later on. It's not a big deal. I'm not saying that, Junkins or Henderson or whoever is going to be better than Genty, but I don't think they're going to be that far off, like especially in the right system.
No, and Mike Vrabel are a dime a dozen.
And I trust Mike Vrabel. And guess who the offensive coordinator is? Josh McDaniels. I like Josh as a coordinator. I like Josh McDaniels, not a head coach. As a coordinator, Josh McDaniels is going to help Drake May. I think I'm telling you, the Patriots in the next couple of years, I believe the Patriots are going to be contending for a playoff spot. I would say probably 2026 playoff spot they're contending for.
And I'm going to be honest, like I think a lot of it's going to have to do with the free agency in the coming days and the weeks leading up to the draft and everything, because there are still a lot of wide receivers available. I mean, Amari Cooper, I don't know what the fuck happened in Buffalo with Amari Cooper, because that whole year just didn't make sense. Like, Amari balled out last year and then, like, got rode out of the playbook this year in Cleveland and then went to Buffalo and, like, never had a chance. Like, it was like, hey, man, go stand out there. We're going to throw to somebody else. Just we got to put 11 people on the field. You're one of them. Stephon Diggs, I think, still has potential in him. He had his prove year that I don't think went the way that he wanted to.
He was playing good, and then he got hurt.
Yeah, so I think that there is still potential for him, and he had a completely different attitude, which you saw when he got to Buffalo. But if you can keep him on a short-term deal, 2-3 years, that's short enough where he doesn't get time to get pissed off. He can make you money, but I mean, Slayton Allen, DJ, Mike Williams, Elijah Moore, Hardman, MVS. I mean, there's not like elite players. Tyler Boyd, I like Tyler Boyd still. Tyler Boyd was down here last year, but I still like him.
It's weird with him.
I know,
It's been
but
weird.
you still have options. And like, dude, if you can't get out there and get after some of this, you're gonna force yourself to have to go receiver.
Yeah, I agree.
You cannot be a Drake May without a receiver, and you cannot bring in a Geno Smith without going after a receiver.
Well, Doc, let's talk about a team that does need a wide receiver. That's the Seattle Seahawks. Now they did trade for Sam Darnold. They paid him 3 years, $100.5 million, so like about 33 and some change a year. Doc, how do you feel about the Sam Darnold to the Seattle Seahawks and what they might need to be doing the rest of the way in the draft and free agency?
I don't fucking get it. I think what the Seahawks need to do as far as free agency and going the rest of the way, if they want to stand a chance, I mean, get rid of your GM. Get rid of your GM. Petition to fire the owner. I don't know what the hell y'all were thinking. And like $33 million these days isn't a ton for a quarterback. But you're still paying a quarter. You got nobody to throw to. I mean, you got JSN. I mean, I guess there's that. You know, you got Noah Fant. I mean, best of luck. You know, I guess you can just throw a bunch of checkdowns to Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker, you know, so I guess you can just play that game. But I don't know. And honestly, doesn't. I guess for Darnold, what it probably is for Darnold is he had his career year. This was the opportunity to get paid. And for him, it was probably about because he knows he choked under pressure. He knows he ain't making it all the way. So I think for him, it was just taking that payday and securing his future. And that's what I think that he did. I think Darnold would have been better off in Pittsburgh because literally, like, you signed after DK got traded away. What are you going to do?
I see the Seahawks, man. I mean, you saw what he was in the NFC right there. The last 2 games of the year, the Detroit Lions against the Detroit Lions to get home field advantage, and not all his fault, but he took a big part of that reason why they lost. And then against the Los Angeles Rams. By the way, he plays the Los Angeles Rams twice a year. And he couldn't play good against them last year, both times they played. So I don't get what the Seahawks are trying to do here. You trade Geno away. I'm fine with that. Geno, to me, is not that good. And then you bring in Sam Darnold. To me, he was a product of his environment. Kevin O'Connell, good coach. Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers, if not the best. Jordan Addison, a solid number 2. Aaron Jones. Receiver. Yeah, Aaron Jones. You have TJ Hawkinson, who came back in the second half of the season. Jalen Naylor was a good number 3, I thought.
Jalen Naylor was really good number 3.
I just don't get what the Seahawks are doing here. You bring in Mike McDonald last year. You think it's going to be a good move. You go 9-8, and then you decide, hey, let's release Tyler Lockett. Okay with that. You trade DK Metcalf because he wants out, and then you bring Sam Darnold in. I just don't know what the hell's going on out there in the Pacific Northwest. Hey, sometimes it's just the way it is, man, and it gets a GM fired, and unfortunately, Mike McDonald has to deal with it.
The only thing that I can think of is there was some serious work done in the war room as far as like potential draft and how they could fill holes in this team with the picks that they got in return. I mean, they got a 2nd-round pick, and I mean, some of these receivers may fall. We saw last year was like the twilight zone for defensive linemen and edge rushers. Like, we didn't see an edge rusher until what position was it we didn't see go until like the 22nd pick?
Latu was the first defensive player at the Colts, and I think it was like pick 15 or 16.
Something ridiculously late.
Because the Falcons, we obviously fucked that all up when we went Michael Penix. 2020 hindsight, good pick, but at the time it was wild because we just paid Kirk. So like we should have been the first team to probably take a defensive player, and then the Colts.
I thought the Bears were a lock to do it too.
Well, when Rome fell to y'all didn't want to. You couldn't.
I wanted the receiver because I knew that Keenan was coming on a short-term deal. No matter how we did, it was up in the air whether he was coming back, and I liked that we reset the market, especially after a DJ extension. But no, I'm not upset about that. I'm just saying I was fully expecting, who was it that?
Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner, that's the one. Yeah, I was expecting Dallas Turner to come.
He fell.
But they all did. And that's my point. You might have that with the receivers this year.
Oh,
like you're going to have
breaking news: Byron Murphy signing with the Minnesota Vikings, 3 years, $65 million. Wow. They needed him. They needed him to stay back in Minnesota because they lost Cam Bynum to the Colts. Shout out to the Colts too, Doc. They made some moves, man.
Colts are making some moves, yeah.
Yeah, Cam Bynum, and they got Ward from the 49ers, Various Ward.
Yep.
So, hey, good for them. That secondary is going to be hard to pass on. Let's see if the offense can get it figured out with the quarterback situation. That's what we're going to need to have in the Colts.
Not until you put AR on the bench, dude.
He'll put himself on the bench when he gets tired. Yeah, hey, Doc, let's move to a team that I was hoping was going to be shit this year, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They bring back Chris Godwin. They bring in Hassan Reddick. They keep Levante David for another year. It just seems like Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just going to be another year of being solid. I mean, you had McMillan who showed up in the second half of the season when Chris Godwin got hurt. Chris Godwin's returning. Mike Evans is back. I mean, Bucky Irving was one of the best players in the NFL as a rookie. The rookie players is one of the best rookie players. Doc, this team right here, man, if Raheem Morris can't get it right, if he can't get past the first round, and this year he needs to get fired because this team is really, really talented.
Yeah, and there's a lot of what ifs here. I mean, are they going to give Bucky the rock? Or are they going to keep leaning on Rashad White like a bunch of idiots?
Needs to be Bucky.
I know. I'm a big Bucky fan. I'm a big Bucky fan, my guy. But
Dynasty, right?
Yeah. But I still got a lot of question marks with Hassan Reddick. I mean, he had the long holdout last year for the Jets before coming back, and I wasn't all that impressed with him missing half the season. I had a lot of concerns about whether he was even working out in his time off. So this is a 1-year, $14 million prove-it year. The good news is in these scenarios, typically the players, grind harder. So I'm expecting him to play at peak and have a somewhat career season. But, that attitude that bled over, he got out of Philadelphia, went into New York, was an immediate problem. Now he's coming over to Tampa Bay. Is that cancer going to bleed into this locker room? Or is he going to finally turn the page and say, hey, new setting, let's come together and win football games? Bring Chris Godwin back. I mean, I don't think anybody expected any differently. I think I saw that coming. I know. Listen, I was hoping for a lot of stuff with Chris Godwin, and I didn't.
I was hoping Godwin, after DK got traded to the Steelers, maybe he would go to the Chargers. I thought that'd be a good fit with Vlad McConkey. I thought Godwin and McConkey would be a solid 1-2, but no, I can't blame him. I mean, they paid him good money. Took a little bit of a pay cut, but they gave him good money to stay there.
I mean, aside from that, though, aside from Hassan Reddick, it's all been re-signings, keeping people at home. So, Levante David, $10 million deal. Ben Bredesen, 3 years for $22 million. Not bad.
Yeah, it just seemed to be a solid team still, and another year.
Yeah, they're going to maintain it. This is honestly this team as a whole, this division as a whole. The Falcons, you guys just seem to be selling. You feel like it feels like you guys are just parting out. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what our defense is doing. We have AJ Terrell and Jesse Bates, but you lose Grady Jarrett. We have Caden Ellis. He's a good linebacker. So we'll see what we're going to do on the defensive end. I believe the draft's going to be all defense for us. But, Doc, a team I mentioned earlier who I think can be an AFC West winner this year, the Denver Broncos, man. Some moves they've made. Hufanga from the Niners, if he's healthy, he's good. Dre Greenlaw, if he's healthy, he's good. And they've been entertaining tight end Evan Ingram. This team, they are a sleeper in my opinion right now. I think Bo Nix having a good rookie season, another year in Sean Payton's offense. Doc, the Denver Broncos, to me, man, they are a team. Just watch out for them.
Who do they got for tight end right now?
Nobody knows. I don't even know. But they're looking at Evan Ingram. That's the hot name floating around that.
Evan Ingram got to stay healthy though. That's the only concern I have for that. I thought the Broncos picked up a tight end. I may be wrong. I know the Pats brought back Gesicki. Gesicki. Was Gesicki on the Pats or was he on Cincinnati? Yeah, so they brought him back. So the Bengals
Hunter Henry were signed back with the Patriots another year.
Yeah, they brought Gesicki back on the Bengals. They did re-sign a tight end. So, Evan Ingram would definitely be a step up, but is he going to stay healthy? That's Evan Ingram had a lot of injury issues last year because I had picked him up and dropped him in fantasy like 35 times because of his injuries. So, but they're making the right moves. Denver's been a team for a long time that has had the defense. They've had the tools to be complete. The one thing that they were always missing outside of Peyton Manning really has been the quarterback, except for Kyle Orton's short, stint after the Bears. But, they finally seem to have the quarterback figured out now. Another team that could probably use, some running back depth, but I bet you right now they're wishing they held on to fucking what's his name from Cleveland. The receiver that they lost or traded?
Oh, yeah, Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Judy, that's it. Yep.
Jerry
I bet
Judy
that-
didn't like, but it's the things like because Jerry Judy wasn't doing anything in Denver. Now, okay, maybe with Bo Nix, maybe he could
Well,
have.
he had a year or two. He had a year or two off, but it was him and I'm fucking. It's late. Him and the other guy that were a good 1-2 punch out there for a year or two.
Well, Sutton's still there.
Sutton, that's it.
Yeah, Denver's an interesting to watch because like if they don't go get Ingram, they're rumored to get Lovett. If he falls, Michigan tight end because Tyler Warren shouldn't be there by then, but they still could go receiver. I mean, like I said, all they have is Sutton. They're sure up their defense. The defense is going to be solid if healthy, and this offense. I mean, they did lose Javonte Williams, so he's a Cowboy.
And they're running back.
Dallas. Yeah, they do need a running back. They have Estime. Well, maybe they'll use him. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you know what? You're right. I need them to use Estime because I got some cards of him too. I got some RPAs for him.
Broncos just need to figure out what they're going to do at receiver, tight end, and running back. I mean, they have Sutton, but Marvin Mims.
This is how it goes, though. You build a defensive team, you get your franchise quarterback, and then you start putting the offensive pieces around them.
And
that's what's going to come.
And Sutton, remember, everyone says Sutton went out. He wanted out of Denver. He seems happy now, because you got Bo Nix. You got a quarterback that can throw you the ball.
Yep,
change his life.
My fantasy team happy. I know that.
Vele was a rookie last year. He was actually a decent number 2 at times. Not saying he was like Jalen Waddle good or Addison good, but he was solid at times for a guy that no one has ever heard of. So we'll see what Denver does, Doc. And like I said, NFL free agency, man, it's been wild. It's been a time, and it started pretty much last night. Started on Sunday.
It's been a lot of fun to watch so far. I mean, opening up, I think the first deal of the day that I saw was Joe Thuney. So seeing that right off the rip, which is crazy when you can't tamper until noon Eastern today. But somehow the agent and the team came together and strike a deal in like 14 minutes. Like, my goodness.
It was like Swift for the Bears last year. I remember it was 12:05. It already broke. He agreed on a deal. It was like, man, so you're telling me in 5 minutes you agreed?
Yeah, they hammered out all the details, everything. They called up. They said, "Hey, DeAndre Drew, this is Ryan Poles of the Bears. We're calling it done deal. So send the paperwork over. I'll sign it."
I think the agent's allowed to talk to the teams, but the players aren't allowed to act out on anything, which is crazy because how does the GM know? Yeah, how does the agent know? It's like
you can't talk to the player. Yeah, I think that is how it goes. But no, I mean, phenomenal to see that open up. I'm not gonna lie, I was getting worried. Because we got the one, and then we went like 3 hours without getting, seeing nothing else for the Bears, and I was like, okay, are we a one-hit wonder and we're done? And then Dio came over, and then very quickly after that, Grady Jarrett. I mean, it was like rapid fire after that. Big moves happening, so super excited. Like I told you before, if the Bears don't start fucking winning now, man, I might have to change teams.
No, yeah, you guys are a team we're going to be looking out for, Doc, in the draft and the rest of free agency too. There's there's a handful of players that are still out there that.
And I'm going to tell you, you might see Minnesota take a huge step back this year because we still don't know J.J. McCarthy.
That's true, unless Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, Doc.
Oh, they're talking about Aaron Rodgers in Minnesota?
There's always that rumor. The Brett Favre.
This dude just trying to follow. Yeah, this dude just trying to follow Brett Favre, dude.
Even though he lasted long, even though he played longer with the Jets, technically played.
Did he though?
1 season and 3 plays. Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre played 1 season. That was it.
How many total games and snaps?
That's what I mean, Aaron Rodgers played 17 games, and back then they only played 16.
That's true. He did play the full second season.
And he played 3 full plays.
1 season plus 3 snaps.
Yeah, he played longer, man.
He got him by 3 snaps.
Hey, what can we say? It'd be funny if
did Favre go to the playoffs though?
No. Oh. I think they were close, but no. He was also doing allegedly was doing inappropriate things in the New York Jets locker room, so training room.
Yeah, allegedly. Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Then he went to the Minnesota Vikings, gave them false hope, and threw an interception across his body. That led to the Saints winning the game. So,
look, man, you got to do what you got to do.
We were we were a dumb throw away from seeing Brett Favre versus Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl in Miami, Florida. That'd have been a fun fucking Super Bowl too, but we didn't get it. But Doc, it's going to be a fun off season, man. I can feel it in my bones. We have the draft coming up. We have the rest of free agency coming up. After the draft, we have to break down some stuff. I'm thinking we should start baseball this year. I know we didn't really get to do much last year. I know the Dodgers are going to win the World Series, but hey, we can still talk about baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, we can definitely get on there. I don't even know why. We could do a 30-second baseball episode to say the Dodgers are going to win because they just can get away with deferring all the money, not spending anything.
That's what the Eagles are doing right now with Jalen Hurts. They're pretty much what they're doing with Jalen Hurts' contract is the same style of deferring money. They're doing it all in the void years, essentially. All his money goes to the back end when he's no longer on the team. So, hey, good for the Eagles.
Honestly, for a player, it's a smart move because you make interest on all that shit.
Yeah, and it's smart on the team too at the time because you're gonna win now. Like you're making your window then. But Doc, no, great episode, man. Can't wait to be back here. We're not sure when we're gonna be back because we got to see what's gonna happen. We'll probably go live for a few minutes when Aaron Rodgers decides he's gonna be one of the 3 teams of a Viking, Giant, or Steeler. Because I know some people care about Aaron Rodgers still, Doc. He's still a popular guy.
I guess.
He's still the owner of the Chicago Bears, according to a lot of people. So.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think it matters what team you put Rodgers on. I don't think he's meeting the Bears. Not anymore.
It's time's done, Doc. Speaking of being done, we are done tonight. I'm Mark Davis. That's Nick the Doc Skirkwins. This is All About the Balls podcast. Have a great night. We are out.